Pull up,
All like not for me.
pull up the lyrics, bro.
Not for me. Lightning.
Lightning strikes the beach. 80 degrees. Warm it up on me. Finally free. Found the God in me.
Okay.
And I want you to see.
Hold on. I can walk on.
Bro, Zoom asking me if I'm playing music. Oh, they know. They hear
They
the
know.
vocals. 1,000 miles from shore. Father, hold me close. Don't let me drown. I know you won't.
Bruh, there's no way that was paired together, but maybe it just turns out all right.
Bro, they got some lit split vocals. It's okay.
Whoa.
What's
We
good,
got an
gang?
emergency addition to the Enlightened Brothers podcast. Let's freaking get it, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the state of the world today. We recorded an episode, our return episode, a couple weeks ago, and we're gonna upload it this week actually. But we can't just sit idle while things are going on in the world, and we're not there to speak about it. So,
and we got to capitalize on this time that we should have been using to edit. But we're busy guys. Can't really complain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, we're getting better. We're slowly getting things back into gear, but it's really difficult to fit our schedules together. We're at different schools. We're both busy guys with our own goals as well. So we're gonna try our best.
It's really crazy, like how quick things just like happen, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like it hasn't been that long. I think we recorded. Let's not put any times on this. They don't. I don't want them to judge us. But I think we recorded like a couple weeks ago, and there have been some crazy developments and some things that we covered. So
I know
we just wanted to come back and mention those things.
I mean, a key to a few things we talk about later in this episode, because they're still gonna add what we talked about before. We talked about Joe Rogan cancellation. That feels like that is not even on our radar anymore. What's happened since then? Or we talked about Russia, which we're going to talk about that right now. That's why we have the emergency addition to the podcast. We talked about the metaverse, which is a timeless topic, which is okay. And what's happened since then? Kodak Black's been shot. Donda 2.
Why am I laughing, bro? So funny.
Donda 2 is a disaster, or the Donda 2, or the Donda
audio
concert.
Engineers. Yeah, atrocious.
That was a disaster.
Kanye's done with his little fling. What was her name? Julia Fox.
Yeah, Julia Fox. She's
got a Kim K lookalike right now. Maybe that's probably going to change by the time this episode goes up, but who knows?
Right. What else has happened since then? Dave Chappelle proved that he cannot be canceled. He has 4 new Netflix documentaries or shows, something coming out.
The gays, bro.
You
not literally. Don't beat the gays. We hate the violence, you know what I'm saying? But like he uncancelable, it seems.
Yeah.
He had the whole LGBTQ plus community coming after him, and somehow I don't know how he did it. He's like an eel. He outmaneuvered him, and he's still in the limelight.
Look, I'm a believer that jokes are funny. I'm not somebody who completely subscribes to cancellation. I believe in education, not cancellation. But I'm not gonna sit here and blame somebody for thinking what his jokes were wrong. And you're fully allowed to believe that. And nobody is forced to listen to Dave Chappelle. But greatness obviously went out at the end of the day.
I think it's just sometimes when the intention of your jokes get misconstrued, because the comedian is the one who writes these jokes. They know the context behind them, and that's why they're delivering them in like a way that is digestible to their audience. And people that don't even listen to this comedian are coming over and telling him what his jokes are supposed to mean.
Exactly.
Now, how about you listen to the comedian tell you what his words mean and what the intentions behind his jokes are?
Well, and we don't live in a society like that today. Nobody's.
But it is up to interpretation. I watched the thing myself. I'm like, well, Dave, you might be going a little bit too far right here. But I'm not gonna lie. There were some like things that were warranted being said against him, but not everything. Not everything. It has to be looked at through a lens that is not like really completely degrading.
I agree with that 100%. Has anything happened, or should we get into this thing?
Yeah, that was a bit of a tangent, but before we actually get into the actual updates, we just want to take this time during the podcast to honor one of the friends that we went to high school with who passed away yesterday, February 26th. Hannah Ferreira. I've been her classmate since middle school. I'm sure Caleb even longer than that because I moved to Florida pretty late in my life, but she's somebody that we graduated with. She's somebody we shared classes with, built a lot of memories with, had fun with, and we're going to have to carry that with us for our entire life that, she's not here, but we won't forget her. She definitely meant a lot to us. I definitely could say that for both me and Caleb. And, the people around us, they're just like who inspire us. So like whether we've mentioned her on this podcast or not, she has definitely been integral into why we are here today, talking about it, talking about all the things that we talk about. And we're going to carry her memory with us forward for the rest of our lives.
Couldn't have said it any better, man. Thank you.
Boom. Right. Ukraine, bro.
It's time to talk about
Ukraine.
What is going on in Ukraine?
Some wild stuff, buddy. All right, where did we leave off on the last episode? Or actually, this episode. Damn, this edited in.
No, I don't know exactly because Emery did give a more general background.
If I can remember correctly, I think I touched on how this conflict even began and where we currently stood at that time. Things were shaky. People on Twitter saying, "Damn, World War III coming next." People still on Twitter saying that. But it was a little less dicey than it is now. Russia was just, conveying their interest of moving into Ukraine, and damn it, they did.
Yeah,
that man Putin got some balls on him, bro. And it's not like a respectable balls. It's like, what's wrong with you, balls, bro? Like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying?
So since then, and we're here to give our opinions mostly because by the time this comes out, most people have known what has happened. But it's also our duty to just lay out the facts real quick. So on February 24th, Russia invaded Ukraine. We knew that happened. And since then, 4,300 Russia servicemen have been lost. The EU has been, is giving 450 million euros towards funding lethal assistance to Ukraine in their fight against Russia. Russia has put their nuclear forces on high alerts. Many countries plan on freezing Russian assets and imports, and companies here in the U.S. are now pulling out of Russian involvement. And so a lot has happened. A lot has happened, and man, it's crazy. It's crazy to think. My shock or my initial thought was in 2022. You don't really see. And I mean, it's happened recently. Well, for one, Russia annexed Crimea in 2014.
Right.
But as Americans, it's a little bit off our radar. And, we don't really think of people just, invading anymore, right?
Exactly. It's still prevalent. I think it's because of our relation with Russia, why this is so discussed. But, around the world, things like this have been occurring, like the war in Palestine. This has been going on for many, many years now. I feel like things like that are sometimes overlooked in the United States because, we do not have, I wouldn't say we do have direct relations, but it's not covered in media as much. And this has been widely publicized. So people are like, whoa, is this really happening? Like crazy things are happening in 2022 for real, man. We're in the midst of a pandemic, under a new presidency. And we have like the prospect of going to war with Russia, who we have been like, how wild this is. We had the Cold War, which spanned for over 20 years. And now in 2022, we are like this close. This ain't a Cold War no more, bro.
Yeah.
This ain't a Cold War. Like we are on the brink of like something that has been building up for many, many years, like just imploding.
Yeah. And I mean, you're slowly seeing the cards being played out, and you're slowly seeing people, you know, choosing sides, and things are starting to set up. I mean, we had, what was this, a couple months ago, that, you know, China and Russia basically banded together against the US. And then now we have this whole conflict with, you know.
Dog, we are donezo if North Korea says they want in too. A little triple entente, little alliance between Russia, China, and North Korea.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, obviously it's not, you know, optimal, but who do I have the most confidence in? I mean, the boys, bro. It's the boys. Like, we're still here. We're still here. We're still on top. But no, to be serious about it, it's scary to think about what could happen. I'm not meant for war, and you know, we don't want to see that happen. But
it's funny,
you know,
that you mentioned that.
Possibility. Yeah.
I was just reading up on this a bit before, but a lot of concern about this. You know, people are definitely worried about the well-being of the Ukraine citizens, but humans are selfish creatures. They're worried about their own well-being as well. People on Twitter and around the internet have been concerned. Am I going to get drafted? Young people especially. And I have good, should I call it good news? I don't know. Do you want to fight for your country? I mean, go enlist if you do, but like, it's not required.
Yeah.
Because I was reading a USA Today article which says draft induction authority expired in 1973, and it would take an act of Congress to reinstate the draft. So I think it's just a bunch of ignorant people still thinking the draft is around. I was ignorant too. I did not know the draft was like not a thing.
Yeah.
And it says the president would then be authorized to induct citizens afterwards, you know, like if Congress made the executive decision to do so. The question is, will things get hard enough where Congress will make that decision? And before, it was only males aged like 18 to 25, I think. And now in our progressive day and age, what's that draft going to include? Are we going to see like maybe transgenders, women, children? I don't know, bro. America's wild, bro.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, no, I think you know, as progressive as we try to be, I think they're going to probably stick with the men thing, but who knows? Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. But I mean, social media, you know, you're just going to see the instant knee-jerk reaction. So, you know, the first thing is to be sad for the people of Ukraine having to go through this yet again, having to arm, you know, citizens with, you know, machine guns and stuff like that.
Having to blockade your own citizens from leaving the country to fight for their country.
Yeah, that's super scary.
And it seems to be a necessity because they have to do that. But it's like, it's like,
and 200,000 people have left, I think.
Really?
Yeah, but still, you know, Ukraine is a democracy of 44 million. So, and now Russia is moving in onto another city, Ukraine's second largest city.
And I saw somewhere that foreign exchange students that are in Ukraine, they were attempting to leave before things got too dicey. And, you know, Russia moved in and they like canceled all flights out of Ukraine. So now they're stranded there. And that's unbelievable.
That's scary. I mean, especially for somebody like me, who's I plan to study abroad.
Well, you're gonna have
2 years from now.
Gonna have to read into some foreign affairs before you do that, bro.
Yeah, because I don't want to go somewhere and, you know, get stuck,
get trapped.
And who know? And, you know, it may be in Europe, and who knows what the state of, you know, Europe is going to be. You know, a couple of years from now. It's, I don't know. It's not something that we want to see. But interesting thing that I've heard is that you know, some say that Ukraine is doing a great job in defending themselves. And I've seen that, like, you know, 4,300 Russian soldiers have died already. But, you know, I feel for them as well. You know, I'd rather no deaths happen. But it's interesting to see, you know, like what actually is going to happen. And if, you know, Putin has bit off a little bit more than he can chew. What do you think?
Oh, bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Let's talk
Yeah.
about his press conference that he held. Did you
Okay.
see that? He
Yeah.
literally said, if anybody like intervened in Russia's affairs with Ukraine, that they would see retaliation on a level that they have never seen before.
Right.
That is, if not a direct threat, I think that might be worse than a direct threat, because he said you don't even know what's coming to you.
Right.
I would have rather
Imminent
said
threat.
like, I'm giving you 50 nukes.
Yeah.
Nah, there's some fear that can be had in that not knowing, you know.
Yeah. And
So he's definitely you gotta be really confident to say something like that.
Do you though? I don't know. It's really interesting because that may just be a smokescreen. Because
You think
the
there's
general
a bluff on this level of like a bluff worldwide, bro? You think a bluff on this level of like seriousness, bro? I don't know how to put it.
No. That's a good point. It's really interesting because I don't know. A part of you is like, okay, like why would you say that? Because like you're talking to the world right now. You're talking to massive superpowers, especially the United States. But at the same time, it's like you kind of have to say that because Russia's trying to make a power play right now, and in the U.S. at least, Russia hasn't generally been viewed as somebody that's super scary. They have all this land, but they're failing in areas. So we usually look towards China as the people that may surpass us as the number one superpower. So yeah, no, I don't know that certainly would be scary, and it's crazy to think about that. Nuclear warfare, it's mutually assured destruction on all parts, and 5 minutes from now we could just see white light, and
Yeah, man.
humanity as we know it.
And the thing, let's get into the actual warfare.
Yeah.
Oh, did I ever finish The Art of War? Well, there are a lot of things that we need to wrap up on this podcast, loose ends.
Yeah.
But the amount of warfare, I mean, or like nuclear ability that the United States possesses, China possesses, North Korea, Russia, is unprecedented. And really, like, are you aware of any allies that we have with nuclear prowess, like comparable to those superpowers?
I don't know. It would take a quick Google search.
It would.
Why not do that? But
where I was going with this is like, if these superpowers do decide to team up with the United States on, I don't know, whatever common interest, form an alliance, then I'm not sure where we would stand against that. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm not confident. It does sound like I'm saying I'm not confident in the United States, but like that is a really scary thought. Like these, even if Russia and the United States went head to head with each other with their nuclear warfare, that's enough to destroy the planet, literally.
Yeah, no,
obliterate the entire planet. And if multiple countries are teaming up with planet destroying warfare capabilities, then it's some wild stuff going on, bro.
Right. The problem is it just takes one person to press that button, because you would think that nobody would do it because everybody wants to continue to live. And that's why we haven't done it thus far. Like we all want to continue to press on. Excuse me. Jesus.
You good, bro?
Oh, that shit in my nose.
You ate some Burger King, huh?
Hell no, we don't
Yeah,
have
pre-podcast, actually, before we started this, Caleb was on the toilet on the pooper.
Yeah,
Again,
so was
some
Emery.
doo-doo butter.
So is Emery.
What you talking about?
Anyway, I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I mean, our desire to continue as a species, is why we haven't set off these nukes this far. The only people to do it is us, right?
Right.
2 on Japan, which I thought about that the other day, which is, it's crazy. But I don't know. And that's why, because of that, which is the reason why I thought something like World War III wouldn't happen in the physical plane. It would happen more in the digital plane. I mean, we know now for a fact that Russia has, tried to, have its own impact on our elections with bots and stuff like that, and you know, people, other outside forces influencing our country through social media and stuff. So I thought it was going to be more digital warfare.
Right.
But the scary thing is that, you know, we're doing this out in the streets,
Similar to, I don't know how deeply involved we will get, because like we're saying, World War III is not confirmed,
Yeah.
you know, at this point. But I feel like Russia may be doing this as a demonstration of their power, like they what they're doing to Ukraine. Like people, the main concern is if they gain control of Ukraine, and Putin, I think he's expressed like interest in rebuilding the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
What will this do? Is this is gonna like get the ball rolling? Like, are they gonna start to gain momentum and like actually move towards making that dream a reality?
Well,
And that's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is. Why I talked about calling bluff earlier is that, you know, somebody from the Pentagon, I think, assured that Russia would have nothing to worry about from, you know, the U.S. And maybe other NATO allies. And the problem with that is, you know, do these countries actually want to start World War III for Ukraine? And that's like a terrible thing to say. Like, and I'm not saying that in a sense that Ukraine doesn't matter, but like, you know, a lot of people here, you know, don't believe in us, you know, getting involved in foreign affairs like that and starting an entire World War III, you know, defending this one country. So, you know, that's where these world wars kind of start. You know, you start to think like, okay, well, like, why are we doing battle over there? Like, this is just one place. And it's because it's not a direct, you know, threat to us. And yeah, the scary thing is if we were to get involved in something like that, that could cause, you know, worldwide issues.
Instead of World War III, I think it might need to be called Armageddon, because we're not at the same place in the world that we were during like World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
Like everything is progressing. If we really broke out into like a world like calamity type disaster, like this is truly world ending, world destroying. It's not just going to be a war. This is going to like change the frontier of the entire planet and like the human race as we know it.
And you know, it's 2022 now, and we're dealing with, you know, the fear of war and pandemics, and this is
climate change, everything.
Climate change, and you know, this isn't the time to say it, but it also is the time. This is why I'm on the side of space travel, and that's why Elon Musk is on the side of, you know, Mars missions to assure the survival of the human race. Now, a point is that, you know, okay, well, if you send humans another place, will they not just do the same thing to each other? But the hope is that, you know, as time moves on, we will evolve, and this isn't our destiny. And you know, I sure hope it isn't, because Emery has dreams. I have dreams, and you know.
Yeah. In regards to that, there are plenty of things like worldwide issues going on that I named previously, but like not all of them are caused by humans. Like you could argue that the pandemic was caused by humans. I would say it wasn't. Hopefully it wasn't. That would be terrible.
Wait. You say it wasn't?
I hope it wasn't, bro.
Nah. I will not side with you on that one.
Oh, you a lab boy. All right.
I generally side with the lab leak theory. And that's not something crazy to say right now. You know, before you would be vindicated. But now it's a true thing that you know, may have been. I haven't done enough research since episode 24 of the Enlightened Brothers podcast, but you know,
I'm not saying that with any type of evidence backing. It's just a hope, because if it did stem from a lab, I got no hope for humanity, bro. I got no hope.
Yeah.
But you know, let's say it wasn't climate change. Yeah, that's on us. Okay. You know what? I take back what I said before.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Humans doing a lot to this planet. Never mind.
Yeah. And you know, there's a lot of people that are just like, you know, that have like, you know, self-hatred, because of what we do to our planet. And we talk about how humans are bad, but what, we're just gonna just let all of us die off and give the planet to dolphins? No, like we made the issues, but it's also, we're the only people that can fix it. We're the only species that can fix it. And it's people like you and I and others that we're surrounded ourselves with that have a vision of assuring our species posterity, that need to act accordingly. And that may be the woke movement, and including more people. That may be space travel and stuff like that. They may be people like you moving into politics to assure that we're one collective as a species. And that's
what I
things
just
such as
realized
globalization come in. Yeah.
That people who can be like categorized as like dreamers, like the people that make changes, and that formulate their own lanes to do things that help the human race, that really is like an innate nature of humans. Like if you think about it, like as we grow, as we acquire more knowledge, we want to put it to use to not only better ourselves, but like better the world. And that's like, I'd say that's constant for most people. I didn't really think about like why that's true. I just think that's like, like how animals, they go out of their way, even if they don't, like, they're not from the same family as another animal, to defend the same, their species,
Right.
There are just some like natural workings of human beings that like we make us act towards preservation. You know what I'm saying?
Because we are animals as well. And you can look at the human species as one huge organism. The main thing with this is I try to look at, from a utilitarian aspect, excuse me, what actions keep the most humans alive and keep the most humans happy. Because the line between good and evil is thin, shaky, and gray. Because a dreamer could be somebody who turns out to be a dictator and has all these ideas, but there's this whole other group of people that completely disagree, and these ideas that they have are carried out by killing others and putting other groups of people down. So we don't want it to be a thing where like we're these dreamers, but we're also creating this society that pushes a lot of people out. And that's why me, who's a metaverse advocate, is also not about pushing out physical interactions. I'm not about, okay, we should no longer have physical interactions. We should all plug into the metaverse. I'm not to that extent. I am just what keeps the most people alive and what keeps the most people happy. But, some people view that as too good to be true.
And it's not too good to be true at all, because I think pursuit of happiness, as cliche as it sounds, is the goal of the human race, if there is any. Because what point is there to life if you're not enjoying what things you do? And that should just be honored on a large scale. It should be respected as like what we should foster our desires around, and like just our general goal to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we've said a lot of good stuff. I think we've kind of covered a lot of things. We probably have some things left on the table, which means we need to do another one of these pretty soon. So
True.
after this,
another one of these in terms of like an actual new episode. So after this goes live, because we need to do a lot more recording.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And Emery and I are both going to do better to get those things rolling. But is there anything else we want to say before we head out? You know what? Yeah, I'll go first. I think I'm not talking about this topic anymore. I think we've said a lot. But now, a little bit of personal things. Your boy Caleb has gone to his first black party.
Up top, my boy.
And,
wait, hold on, bro. That's wild.
I know.
Because now I'll consider it. I went to my first black party 3 days ago.
Really?
It was a black club. It wasn't really a party, but
yeah,
it was a lot of melanin in that room.
Well, I will say I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I'm somebody who I never liked parties. I always wanted to leave early, and I wasn't dancing. But I was like, oh, well, the dancing part is because, I don't vibe with this music. I don't
Mm.
vibe with these people. And I went to my first black party last night, man. I definitely got wild. There's some things that I will tell Emery that I won't say on the show because I'll be incriminating myself. But I had lots of fun. I knew every song. Last night after when I got back to my dorm at like 2:40, I just had to sit down because I was tired and my throat hurt from me screaming. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I've gone to 2 parties in 1 month, which is insane for me. I will no longer be doing that, but I enjoyed myself. Other updates, I'll be back in Jacksonville, Florida a month from today.
Hell yeah.
So
Spring break, baby.
Spring break, baby. Let's go. Emery, you got anything?
I'm actually wearing Florida Gator merch right now.
Yeah.
Had this for a couple years, but that's actually because I came back from Gainesville 2 hours ago. Just got off a 2.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
And I was visiting some of my friends, John and KJ. John's was a previous guest on the podcast. KJ, we still need to get that man on.
Yeah.
He's not a talkative dude. Well, he is a talkative dude if you know him, but
Right.
I don't know if behind the camera at least. But yeah, I had a lot of fun in Gainesville. The clubs. See, Caleb, he's not really a party guy. Me, I want to say I'm a party guy either, but I dabble, you know. I've been around the block a time or two, and UF clubs cannot compare. Tallahassee's still standing strong, bro.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have to come one of these days.
Shoot, I should come to Tallahassee over spring break, bro. I might do it.
That would be
Might
fun.
get a day in. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but other than that, Japanese going well. Hajime mashite, watashi wa Emery desu. That's all y'all get it from me now.
Yeah.
That's all y'all get it from me right now. But I'm gonna come in. Maybe we'll do a half Japanese episode of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Caleb just not understanding the rest.
No, it's okay. So here at Brown, we have an open curriculum, as Emery knows, and as the viewers may know or are learning. So we can pick all of our classes. And I was originally going to go for 2 degrees, one in computer science, one in physics. But I'm slowly rethinking that. I may not have to rethink it. But my next semester schedule was going to be comprised of 2 CS courses, a physics course and a math course. But I've been rethinking that a little bit. And I've decided I'm going to learn a new language, which is, outside of, my usual, that's not on brand for me because I'm one that says, I'll just, download a language into my brain 2 decades from now. But I'm considering a couple languages, including, French, Japanese, and Italian. So, we'll see. But I absolutely am learning a new language next semester. So pretty exciting.
That's awesome, bro.
Yes, sir. Shoot, I've said it already so many times. It's a blessing to be here. I'm here right now. Can I flip my camera? Probably not. I'm in a nice little
Bro,
conference
what
room.
You in a lecture hall, bro?
Yeah, I'm in a lecture hall. Not conference room.
Thought you were in a library. So what the hell is
man.
that, bro?
Nah,
You
man,
got a whole lecture hall to yourself right now. What the freak, bro?
You already know. So Sunday night, I'm about to get out of here. Go get this place called Baja's, which is kind of like Chipotle, except it's better.
Hey, the club I went to, the black club was called Baja's.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
nice.
then gonna work on a CS project for the rest of the night. Also do some linear algebra. And before I go to sleep, edit this very podcast we're talking about right now.
Facts. I have a 1,500 word essay I need to write before 12.
Woo.
I'm gonna hop on that, but I won't even have enough, like the full 6 hours, because I have a basketball game for my intramural playoffs at 7:00, which is in 48 minutes.
And that is the life of a college student. There is no leisure here. We move from thing to thing.
I might just have to take that 1 grade deduction, bro. Turning it in 5 minutes late. We'll have to see. I think I'm gonna do it. All right.
Well, good luck to you, my man, Emery. I will talk to you soon.
My boy.
And now, the rest that you will see, guys, is from the episode we recorded a couple weeks ago.
What episode is this?
Episode
and
27.
27, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're no longer in the same place. So obviously, this is the Enlightened Brothers. We're back after a many months.
It has been way too long, bro.
Break, many months.
Way too long.
Way too long. So
look at your boys, man. Let's take a second. address.
Yeah, he dropped his mic.
Yeah, get that out of here.
Yeah.
So how about we give them a little like Spark Notes version of how our first semester experiences have went?
All right, let's do it. You first.
So I'll start us off. I stayed pretty local, other than like this guy Caleb. He's in Rhode Island right now.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
even know where that is. I could have point to that on the map, but I'm still in Florida. Went over to Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida, and college has been wild, bro. I feel like wild would be the best way to describe first semester. I came in here not really knowing anybody. Most of my friends went to other schools, so they had like friends that they already knew from high school going in. But I only know a couple of people here, so I was mainly just like doing things by myself. Caleb, on the other hand, doing everything by himself. Nobody in Rhode Island. But yeah, it's been fun. I met a lot of cool people in my dorm. I met a lot of cool people in my classes. I'm learning Japanese right now. Something I've always wanted to do. I don't know if we have time for stories. Maybe we'll like devote a section of that to like the podcast later.
Yeah.
So just so we can get into like the meat of everything. But like, I learned a lot about myself during the first semester, learned a lot about other people, got to know other people. It's like that we're actually in the newest chapter of our lives. So it's been pretty fun. Pretty fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, so man, bro, you better turn your notifications off, bro. We all heard that.
Put that bit on silent.
Look, man, we got to be professional out here. Before I get into that, speaking of being professional, me and Emery are recording this 6 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Eastern time. It was supposed to be at 6 p.m. Eastern time. My laptop has completely died. It will not turn on no matter how long I charge it. I tried to restart it and it's just not working. So
Well,
hopefully,
first of all, how long do you be using your laptop a day? It's probably been fighting for its life for a while now.
It's been fighting for its life. Lately, I've been programming on like 2 different editing softwares. So like a regular one for CS class, and then I just built my first video game yesterday. So yeah, my computer is like its battery is slowly deteriorating. On top of that, I've been editing podcasts for a year now. So look, man, that computer is as good as dead. I'm ready to get a new one.
Well, you're at an Ivy League. I'm sure they got like a supercomputer or two for you to upgrade to. Yeah.
You know what? They should probably give me one for free, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you don't already know, I go to Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. Beautiful, snowy Providence, Rhode Island. My first semester, it was awesome. It was better than anything I could have imagined. You meet all types of great people here from across the world. And then obviously it was something to get accustomed to because I'm, way farther from home. I have nobody from home that I know. So I was like, okay, what's going to happen? But orientation for us, it was like 10 days or something like that. And they throw so many things at you. There's no time to relax. There's no time to think like, oh, I miss home. There's no time to think like, oh, this is unfamiliar. Literally, we had something hour by hour, an itinerary every day to do this event, this event, this event. And I actually recorded a vlog that, the Enlightened family should have seen already. But over my winter break, I had so much stuff going on. I still haven't edited it yet. So I think I might push that off and just continue to vlog and upload like a mega vlog later on.
Wait, was that vlog on your computer?
No, that's on my phone.
I'm about to say goodbye, my boy.
Yeah, I mean, speaking like, a lot of things would be lost on that computer. It would be very tragic. Schoolwork, class, self projects, my video game, all of it would be hard.
And what you gonna do for class tomorrow? No laptop?
Okay, I don't know. I got an iPad. That's it.
I would just like to make a note that whatever perspective I hold now is very subject to change because I'm literally learning more about these concepts every single day.
Yeah.
So, there will be something that'll completely change my perspective, and I'll maybe lean more left, more right regarding things. And we'll just have to see based on what I learned. So I might come on a different episode just saying the complete opposite. And that's not just because like I'm wishy-washy. It's because, you know, you learn more things and they change how you view other things, you know?
Well, Emery, you know, podcasters aren't actually awarded this liberty. Um, and
Yeah.
if you get what
I
I'm
wanted
hinting
to
at,
make a note.
if you get what I'm hinting at,
Mhm.
podcasters aren't really awarded this ability to, you know, have said something in the past, and then, you know, now they feel differently.
Mhm.
But you know, because, you know, probably, you know, the greatest podcaster of all time. At first, he was getting attacked for misinformation, and
Right.
now he's getting attacked for racism. So I didn't want to cut your topic off, but I do think we need to discuss that.
That is very good because, you know, the one thing I like about our podcast being pretty small right now,
Yeah.
I've said some stupid things, bro. Said some stupid things. They may be picked up because, you know,
Yeah.
everything on the internet does not go away. It's
Right.
permanent on there permanently. But at least we don't have too big of a platform to propagate misinformation.
You know what? We don't, not yet, but you know, it could happen just to us. It could happen to
Mhm.
us that they reach back and
Yeah.
pull these things that we've said, and now we're, you know, canceled for something that we said in the past. But
Right.
it's a little different. It's a little different with this because Joe Rogan, he said he said it.
Hey,
He said
yo,
it,
bro.
and he said it multiple times
Bro, how
on
you go?
camera.
Hey, I know this is a podcast discussion, but you really gonna say that on Black History Month, bro?
My bad.
We only 6 days in, bro.
Yeah, we only 6 days in. I might need to chill. I might need to edit that out. But anyway, Joe Rogan said there's a compilation where he said it multiple times. If you don't know what we're talking about, guys, by the way, Joe Rogan, formerly being canceled for misinformation, is now being canceled for racism because there's a video circulating. Look it up on the internet. Joe Rogan is saying the N word, the hard ER, in
I
multiple
haven't even
instances.
seen this video.
He thought that saying the N word was okay with context. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I'm always
So it was like kind of like he was like reading an excerpt from like Huckleberry Finn or something.
He thought it was okay if he read it an excerpt. And
Okay.
Look, I'm always gonna I enjoy Joe Rogan podcast. I'm gonna usually weigh in on the side of education and not cancellation because that's just me.
Right,
I'm
right.
not part of I'm not part of the woke mob that's canceling a lot of people. But you idiot. Like, come on now. I was on his.
What the hell did you think was gonna happen, bro?
I've been on his side for a long time, and Joe Rogan is the type to challenge, the common perception.
Common.
Of what to do. Yes, he's the type to go against what is commonly known is something you should do. So, but come on, you got to know that you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna read it, or I was reading it from off a thing. No, I
feel
can't side
like
with him on that one.
let me channel my inner Malcolm X real quick, bro.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes when people, like, let's say the N-word is used in some sort of media, and then they just want to go like talk about that some sort of media.
Mhm.
You literally have the choice. Everybody knows what you're talking about. You don't got to say it. You literally don't have to say it to get your point across.
Yeah.
But I feel like they feel challenged. I just feel like that in itself has some racial undertones. I mean, like racist undertones to it. Like going out of your way to, quote some sort of media saying this word when you literally have the option not to.
Yeah, he could have said N-word.
Literally.
Yeah.
N-word with the hard ER. That would have even been way more specific. You wouldn't have gotten no hate, no flame. Well, maybe the occasional ignorant Twitter person would have flamed him. But like, you can't really be held accountable for something like that.
Moving on, we need to discuss the misinformation portion of this Joe Rogan story. Well, first, let me ask you, do you know exactly what's been going on? Do you know what misinformation he's being canceled for?
Yeah, of course I know. I've been living it for like the past 2.5 years. COVID.
Yeah.
COVID. Of course.
So some apparently misinformation about COVID has been being spread. And, without getting into the boring details of what exactly has been said, Joe Rogan has been bringing on different people with differing opinions of what is mainstream to be thought about the vaccine and the COVID virus and all that stuff. So but the thing is, he's not just bringing on Joe Blow from Iowa. Okay, he's bringing on world-renowned doctors who just happen to not have the same views as the mainstream media. But he also has brought on mainstream doctors like Sanjay Gupta and other people. He's just the only one that I can think of. And, sometimes they get bodied, sometimes not. But the real main thing here is that when a powerful source of news and opinion is affecting all these people's lives, and it is going against what CNN wants to spread, they start to not like that, and they're going to go after that, and they're going to attack that. And Joe Rogan, has he spread misinformation? Sure. At this point in 2022, what is misinformation? Because the last 2 years has taught me more than anything that there is no absolute truth. There is no absolute truth.
Right.
And there's a constant evolution of what we perceive to be the truth. And there's a constant evolution of the data in which we are given, because everybody likes to refer to science. And now science is being alienated, I guess, to be known as, okay, science, trust the science. But what science really is a rigorous look and a rigorous change of what we view as the truth based off of the new data in which we are given. So if we're trusting the science, we know that information is going to change. And for CNN to attack somebody for misinformation, while before they had people saying, like Rachel Maddow saying that, if you get vaccinated, you can't catch COVID and you can't spread it. Well, that's absolutely misinformation. We've all spread misinformation in our lives before. And, I'm not saying just trust everything, but there's a portion on the people side. We've talked about it on the show before. You cannot be taking in information from one source. You can't call the person telling you the information an idiot. If you're taking it from one person, you're the idiot. That's just a fact of the matter. So taking information from multiple sources, read. People read headlines nowadays. No, we need to be readers. And that's really how you're going to learn what is the data. And then you decide for yourself what the truth is.
I'm not sure how Joe Rogan runs his podcast. Do you know whether there's you got some podcast ghostwriters or something, or all the information he's talking about, he's done avid research about?
So yeah, here's the thing. He says that he comes in unprepared, but the truth is that he, for one, sets his schedule. He sets the schedule of who comes into the show, and he also spends, hours reading on the person before they come in. That's just the truth. So this is said by people who are close to Joe Rogan, that he comes in already either read the book of that person or reading on that person, or reading whatever book that person has made. So he comes in knowledgeable.
I just feel like, in terms of that's a great format for running his podcast usually. But in terms of whenever he's discussing sensitive topics such as COVID, and a time like this, knowing his platform and how many people watch it, I feel like it's a bonehead move to not really be educated about that, or at least before the episode goes live, have a team that runs through all the facts, checks it. Maybe those facts aren't necessarily all the way time correct, but at least leave it open to interpretation for the viewers. Don't just speak it as fact. So there are definitely ways that he can better handle it. But is it his fault? I don't think he was intentionally trying to spread the misinformation, because who would do that in the time of this pandemic? Right. Should he truly be judged for that? No. Maybe he should continue to use his platform, correct those false ideologies that he spread, and it should be okay after that. I don't really see why it's so. I understand why it's a big deal, because this, again, we're in a pandemic and everybody's just hearing information going off what it is. But I feel like he has opportunity to rectify that. So he shouldn't be really as blasted on as he's being.
Yeah, I just want consistency. If we are allowed to amend what we say in the past and turn it to, what we believe is truth now, then I think somebody as Joe Rogan should have that same liberty as well. Couple months ago, probably months ago, when we were talking about it, if you said that coronavirus came from a lab in Wuhan, that was taboo. That was taboo, and you would be canceled on the spot for saying something like that, because COVID obviously came from a 2D character that had sex in China with Mickey Mouse. If you don't watch South Park, then you don't get that.
I'm like, hold on, bro.
Okay, but there was a mainstream way of believing where COVID came from.
Moss.
Yeah, Randy. So, but now if you say COVID came from a lab, Newsweek or other platforms are talking about it being a possibility. So obviously, we should be able to change with the data. The problem is now we expect. It's like people expect data or facts to not change, and maybe that's not completely, maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, because it's hard during a pandemic. You want things that are hardcore fact so you can start to lead your life in a way that'll keep you safe. So I understand people not wanting the information to change that much, but
that's literally impossible. Sorry to cut you off.
Because
it is. A virus is this virus at least is constantly evolving. We're seeing new strains coming out like every other month, it seems. Like the Omicron, I know there's a new variant of the Omicron now, and it's like these facts are going to continuously change as the virus continuously changes, and you got to get used to that. You got to continuously be digesting this information, because if people are only going off what they knew about, like the OG COVID, let's call it that, then obviously that in itself is misinformation to yourself. You're going to remain ignorant because it's constantly changing. It's constantly updating. So you need to constantly update your knowledge that you're getting.
Exactly. And then the weird game we play also is that, the information we may be getting from the government isn't always a fact, because we were told, I'm pretty sure the CDC in the very beginning said that, masks didn't work. And that was said because they needed more masks for the workers, the people who are working on the front lines. And and then you go from that to saying, oh, you need a double mask. You need to wear a surgical mask on the bottom and a cloth mask on the top. Now cloth masks don't work. This thing it's constantly changing. It's constantly changing. And what I would hope for is that, the government from the jump just said, yo, y'all can't get masks right now because the people on the front lines who are saving people from dying
need them
masks. But the problem is, you can't tell everybody everything, because it's like the UFO thing. If we told people, if the government said that aliens were real right now, either two things would happen. People would go into mass hysteria, churches would be burned, buildings would be burned.
What is the thing with mass hysteria, bro? It's like, I swear half the world is NPCs, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, why would things ever go into mass hysteria? And if you don't know what an NPC is, it's a non-player character. It's like a robot in a video game. It's just like people who mindlessly act, right? So yeah, what's the deal with that's a good point. But yeah, two things would happen if we said that aliens were real: mass hysteria, or nobody would care. Everybody's too busy thinking about why are Kim and Kanye arguing about their baby on Instagram? Like,
I'm gonna bring that up too.
Right. So the point is that there's so many things at play here, and sometimes it's fatiguing, tiring to think about stuff like that. That's why we're here to talk about it. But I mean, with the whole broad category of misinformation, you got what the government's telling you. You got what major news sources are telling you. You got your own beliefs. You got podcasters. You have your own desire to go out and read information. There is no absolute truth. And people need to realize that. So then, knowing that there's no absolute truth, they can't just get their opinion from one source that they believe it is their absolute truth. People need to have what is it called?
Consistency.
Have what?
Consistency.
It's another word for academic courage that I can't
Oh, I was
think
completely
of,
off.
but it's academic courage. They need to have that, wherewithal within themselves to go out and seek out information and internalize it and know it's real. But then you have social media, which blows everything else up too. So, the culture war and misinformation, and it's a side effect of the information age we're moving into. And the scary thing is that we're about to move from Web 2.0, which with all this stuff happening, into Web 3.0 with the metaverse. And we have the metaverse coming on when we haven't even solved our issues of how to manage life within a hyper information age. And
Exactly.
it's about to the playing field is about to grow by 100x, and we haven't solved our issues on such a small scale. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
What do you think about that? Because it brings up, like, I don't know if anybody's coined a term to this, but it's kind of like it's like a technology age of okay, we're gonna have to do a cut again there.
Mhm.
Technology age of survival of like the fittest, kind of.
Mhm.
Like
elaborate.
Usually, like people that don't understand everything on the internet, they're just gonna go on and complain to like their Facebook groups and stuff like that. But with, like you said, is it called Web 3.0? That's where we're moving into. Web 3.0. People aren't even adjusted to Web 2.0 currently, and it's like, are they just going to be left in the dust, or are they going to have more things to complain over? Because the world is constantly changing, technology is constantly advancing. So like, I feel like it's kind of like moving into like if like either you're with it or you're not, like we're going to keep on keeping on. Well, like how are we going to handle these people?
And it's scary. It really is scary because, it's scary because the technology is evolving way faster than humans are. And it's always, oh my God, what do I have going on? It's always been that way. So what are we going to do? It's scary. And what I don't want to turn it in, what I don't want it to turn into is rich people are plugged into the metaverse, and those who are poor, less fortunate, are grabbing at other people's ankles, trying to climb the mountain to the metaverse. It shouldn't be like that. And like I said, is it the fault of people like me who are pushing the metaverse, who are committing themselves to creating new technologies that are going to be used in the metaverse? Or is it people like me who are going to be the problem, who keep it in mind that at the end of the day, it's about people, and we want to make lives for everybody in the world better? So, man, there's so many different things at play here in terms of, people actually caring about other people when creating these technologies. We have to keep people, it can't be about, capital gain all the time. It can't be. And I've been thinking about this a lot recently because I want to be an entrepreneur, but, also one of the ways in which people could be taken advantage of is if the metaverse is dominated by big companies. So I don't know, but we
feel
have
like
the topic of the metaverse here.
the
already.
metaverse.
So do you want to continue discussing this?
We definitely do need to, because this is something big and like really grandiose. I think I like really explained it kind of wrong. It was probably, I think a better way to talk about it would have been like natural selection of technology.
Yeah.
And basically what I meant by that is like people that aren't truly understanding of technology or rejecting the current technological advancements that we're seeing, they're going to be kind of left in the dust. Because it's not going to stop for them regardless of how they feel about it, because there are always people looking to make advancements, and if it's like get with the program or get out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I don't want it to be like that, because in the end, it's all for positive gain. People were originally scared of the internet, but like, look, everybody's grandparents always playing Candy Crush on their phones and stuff. Constantly on Facebook, WhatsApp, communicating with their friends and family. You know what I'm saying? So this is just another case of people discrediting what they don't understand, Like I see that a lot. Remember when we just first talked about NFTs when it was like really just a concept at the time?
Right.
And it's really fun, like talking about all this stuff before it blows up, because like, first of all, we were knowledgeable about it before it became like a big thing. And like, we can really truly understand how far it's come. And like NFTs are huge now, bro.
Yeah.
Like since we first talked about it, and it hasn't even been a full year. It's wild, bro.
It's insane. Yeah, no. I mean, we're moving into a really interesting space, and the possibilities are endless. I actually, for a final project here at school last semester, I created a 15-minute video about the metaverse. I could post that on YouTube if people are interested. And, you know, we're moving into something very, very big, very, very interesting. And I believe that the metaverse, it's moving right along with the evolution of our species. As the internet is evolving, so is the metaverse. And the metaverse will eventually, excuse me, the metaverse will eventually and is now an entirely new domain. You have to view it as an entire new universe. It is a new domain for humans to interact with their lives, for humans to enact, their purpose onto something new, for humans to live, how it's hopefully for people to live how they want to live. Hopefully this new space, an entire new universe, increases the amount of liberties that people have. That is the true hope. That is what my goal is. And there's a list of things that we have to accomplish to get there. Like, one of the main things is trust. Trust in, that your information isn't being, dealt with in bad ways. Trust that somebody else can't just hack your metaverse avatar and completely destroy your life. And it's trusting of others, is trusting of others to be good patrons. But that's something that we might not be able to trust that, which is why we need to have protections set up against people doing naughty things within the metaverse.
Well, let's keep note of that. I think we need to backtrack a little. We just jumped into the metaverse talk, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't even know what the metaverse is. We didn't get background on it.
You're right. I probably jumped the gun a little bit. So yes, we need to get into what is the metaverse. Okay. Exactly what is the metaverse? What is it? This turns out to be an extremely loaded question, which can be answered in many different ways.
I know how to answer it.
What? How you answer it? Yeah, go ahead.
The reptilian messed up.
What?
You have to rebrand. Facebook now Meta got caught for selling people's information. At least that's the ignorant Twitter take on it.
Zuck the cuck back at it again. Here's the thing. Here's the first thing I want to get to. Meta is not the metaverse. That's one thing we need to drill into the heads of the public, of anybody who's listening to the show.
I didn't know that. Bro,
the misinformation that needs to stop being spread, the true misinformation that needs to stop being spread, is that the metaverse is owned by Meta. That is not true. He just happened to turn his huge company into the name Meta. But who owns the internet?
What does Meta mean? Why are they all choosing this word, man?
It means there's lots of translations. Beyond, transcendence. It has a lot of Greek translations. Evolution. It's the meta. It's a really good word for it. You can view the term metaverse as like the next frontier for humanity. Basically, the term basically means next universe, beyond universe, right? So it's what the metaverse can be looked at is a digital extension of the biological universe we live in today. Or it can be looked at as the evolution of the internet. The two-dimensional internet that we're on right now, you can now view it as a 3D internet in which you can live in. The metaverse can also be looked at as a shift of focus in the digital age, in the digital era, from our device to ourselves. So
we're in like some Ready Player One Sword Art Online type stuff now.
Or you can look at it
Okay.
as Ready Player One or Sword Art Online, which is
Okay.
why the metaverse is huge for somebody like me who loves both of those. So one of my favorite movies and my favorite anime of all time. So you can view the metaverse as those three things. You can view the metaverse as just a place for virtual reality. You can view the metaverse as a place of new opportunity to have your job. And you can just view the metaverse as a completely different universe. My personal way of looking at it is it's a different universe. It is, but it's not just a different universe. I like to view it as an extension of the biological universe we live in today. And it's a true, fully digital realm in which, like I said, we can enact our purpose and presence onto that universe. We can truly be human in this universe. And there's a lot of components to that. And it's going to take a long time before it's fully realized, because right now the metaverse is just an NFT marketplace, or it's, us becoming more in tune with Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, all that stuff. But the metaverse is truly starting now, because we're feeling our identity being placed more and more on the internet.
Right. People always talk about your digital footprint.
Yeah.
And, it grows exponentially, as like literally every single day. More data is gathered by everything you do on your phone.
Right.
You're making more posts. People are getting more engaged with the internet as time passes. Exactly. And that builds a lot of concern as well. Like, do you think people will become too invested in their like digital counterpart rather than their biological counterpart?
Right. So this was huge for me in my research on, because I made a 15-minute video on it. Like I said before, this was huge in me to determine, like, the question was, is the metaverse good for us? And I ended up with the conclusion, yes. But this was one of the main things. If this focus shifts, will we start to value our digital selves more than our physical selves? What will this do? One of the downsides of it is like Snapchat, right? You see, young women on Snapchat using filters and stuff, and that sometimes takes away from how they view their selves and how their body looks. And, that's a sad implication of filters and stuff, but let's shift it from the bad to the positive. Is there a positive implication of us having more identity with our digital selves? This is an extremely hot take. And, I said technology is evolving faster than us humans, but for this to come to fruition, this would actually take a pretty big evolution in how we view the world.
Right.
Perhaps it gives us more liberty as to how we can value ourselves. Perhaps if we can create ourselves within the metaverse, we have more freedom to actually be the people that we want to be.
So it's kind of like an extreme fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's actually it. That is, yes. I've never heard that up until now, but that is exactly what I'm saying.
All right.
Because we fall into these traps, at least I believe, as when new technology comes around, oh, you're taking away all of these things from how we used to do it, right? But who is to say that an evolved human species, that they can't choose who they want to be? This questions religion. This questions society now, because one would say, if you're truly enlightened, you're comfortable in your own skin, right? So this is a weird fight.
That's completely true, though, because we are not the same. If we take a human in this day and age and compare it to like a human maybe in like the year 600, fundamentally, not even like just from historical purposes, those are not the same beings. Like, we have evolved, maybe not physically, but mentally, due to our surroundings. Like, we're completely different beings. And this is just another stage of our evolution, not only from a technological standpoint, but from like a mental standpoint. What will humans become?
It is. And, another possibility is that we become more in tune with our own consciousness. Like, if you're able to shift between these different avatars, then you may not be who you look like. You just may be who you am inside. And I used am because that's the quote that's the quote by Rene Descartes. But
Is it?
but you could just be, who you believe yourself to be, who your consciousness is. But then it's like, okay, that's really out of there, because now, like, how do I know you're you? Like, that's a really interesting portion of it that I don't have all the answers to yet. But there's a thing in the metaverse, since it's a universe, you also have individual worlds. So you could show up as a different person in different worlds. In a world that's more alike, maybe this world is called Earth 2, right? And you go to work and stuff, you probably would look like a digital scan of Emery right now, or me right now. But in, I don't know, if Disney creates a world, right? You can be whoever you want to be and however you look like. And probably a component that's going to be in the metaverse that I've never thought about until I had this conversation, which is why I love podcasting, is either you'll be able to click on somebody's profile, and if you guys are known as friends maybe or something, you'll be able to see what their other selves, the other avatars look like, and you can verify who that person is. Or because our bodies are connected to this metaverse, that maybe we'll have some inherent knowledge, like a consciousness connection, that you're Emery, even if you look like Elsa from Frozen.
I love this entire concept, but the one thing that is questionable to me is whether it is okay for somebody to lead so many different personas. Like if you're going into a new world, a new avatar, along with that new avatar, it's not just going to be you. It's going to be like you're going to play into a different role. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to become a different person. So is it okay for one person? Like that takes it away from, like, maybe you could argue that it builds on yourself.
Yeah.
But I feel like it takes away from like who your true self is if you're playing so many different roles.
Right. So that's a weird game that we're going to play that I also have no answers to, but that's a weird game we're going to play. Either we're going to be, because we can be these different avatars, either we become deeper, wholer people inside, or we become fragmented and we can't access all of those things and we become shallow people.
Have you watched that Black Mirror episode with Anthony Mackie?
Not yet. I'm working my way towards it.
Okay. Do you mind if I give you like a little spoiler on the premise?
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, Anthony Mackie and his old friend, both males, by the way, they're playing this new VR game, right? And in this VR game, you can take control of your avatar. You have your full sense of taste, touch, smell, and all that. You basically become the person that you're placed into.
Right.
It's a fighting game, like kind of like Street Fighter and all that. And Anthony, he's the male character, and his friend is the female character, and they have sex.
Oh, a man?
Yeah, both men.
Oh, yeah.
Both men mentally, but like
physically.
Avatars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is, I said before, one of the number one things that the metaverse is going to rely on is trust. And, I may fall in love with somebody in the metaverse, right? And they might be a dude on the other side. Now, somebody who is woke or somebody who is, progressive would say, it only matters who they are inside. So if they're a dude on the other side of the camera, then you should still be in love with that person, no matter if you saw them as, a woman in the metaverse.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know.
Hey, different stroke, different flows, you know what I'm saying? It ain't for me. I like your style. I mean, I don't like your style. Yeah. But like,
I agree.
It's for you.
I agree. So yeah, that's something we're going to have to play with because, I'm not going to sit here and say that the metaverse is going to completely replace the biological world, because then what is that? That's just the Matrix. Then our full lives are just going to be on this internet. We're going to be tube people for the rest of our lives. I don't think that's what we want. So because it's going to be this place of creation and exploration, I really just think it's going to give humans more space to live. It's literally going to give us more space to be humans. I
feel like it should be viewed as a tool.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just saying, technology is also advancing in the biological world. We have space travel and robots, and carbon capture. Climate change is going to get better one day. We're going to be able to build cities on oceans. We're going to be able to build cities in the skies. Electric cars, hover cars. We're going to have all these cool technologies in the physical world as well as in the metaverse. So we're literally just going to be able to, okay, if you want to be plugged in, be plugged in. But if you want to go out here and explore all this stuff, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the case. And hopefully that will take away from what you were talking about before with the natural selection and people getting, people who are behind. Because there also could be a world in the metaverse in which it's old town world, and we ride cattle, and we, drive, gas cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That also opens up a scary thing.
Hey, wave in the mirror.
Yeah, I saw Chester in the back.
That's my roommate, guys. another new guy I met coming to college. Cool guy. He'll be on the podcast sometime.
But the scary thing about having all these new worlds is, the liberty as to which you can have new worlds. So there also might be a slave world for people who are, who want to be with the time or want to go back to making America great again. For people who want to make America great again, they want to make it great to the point where, Black people were cattle.
Hey, yo.
So that's what we're going to have to figure out, is giving people liberty, but also not letting people do stuff like that. Because the worst thing that would happen is if somebody found a way to trap people in the slave owner world in the metaverse.
Oh yeah, won't be able to escape.
But I wanted to get to another point before we wrap this up, is that number one, it's trust. And then number two is ownership. Within ownership is also privacy.
Like slave ownership?
No, not that ownership. Ownership of ourselves. We don't we don't own ourselves like we want to on the internet today, because all the apps, especially TikTok, have a lot of your information. So now within the metaverse, the true goal is that we are the true owners of our information. And we're able to do this because of peer-to-peer networks and stuff like blockchain technology and like Bitcoin and stuff like that.
Right.
Because of that technology in place, we have true ownership of our own data. And because of that, we have more liberty also to change, to vote and, vote on things that happen within the metaverse, and also protect ourselves against companies who are trying to take advantage of us.
I'm not sure of the inner workings of it, but I think they're trying to crack down on that buying and selling of data at least a little bit, because in the most recent iOS, there's a new option within most apps. Literally, whenever you download the app, it asks, do you want to allow this app to track your like ads and stuff and like analyze your information? And I always say no. I don't know why anybody would really say yes unless you're like involved in the tech world and like development and all that. But like, I feel like they're like trying to make some moves to alter it. I'm not really tech savvy about it that. So I'm not sure if it's just like how like much on like of a deep level they're actually doing that, but like, it's something.
And look, there's pros and cons. There's pros and cons because, if you have an app track your data, it can optimize your experience way more. Like if TikTok didn't have any of your data, it would just give you random videos, right? Emery, you wouldn't be able to see all
your
those
For You
videos.
page would not be for.
Exactly. So
I did turn it off. Hold on, I did turn it off for TikTok, but you make an excellent point, my friend. Hold on, let me turn it on right now. Let me turn it on right now. All right.
So that's basically the outline of what the metaverse is, and for people who want to go in and do more research, I have like a couple more hit points that that you can ponder over if you want to think about the metaverse. But Walmart's joining companies like Meta, Nike, Ralph Lauren, and Disney. Walmart now plans to claim their own corner of the metaverse, and they've submitted several trademark applications that's going to allow them to sell virtual merchandise. I don't know what Walmart will be able to sell in the metaverse, but that's going to be cool. Which people who are concerned about jobs, there's going to be millions of more jobs in the metaverse. Just want to say that.
Okay.
But they also want to create their own Walmart currency and their own NFTs as well. Gap launched their first NFT collection 3 weeks ago, and Nike has been spending 3 years on crypto kicks. So a lot of interesting stuff.
Bro.
And Also, a couple from Tamil Nadu is going to host their wedding reception or they already hosted their wedding reception on the Metaverse because of COVID. They can have all their relatives come in. So after the ceremony, everybody will go on their laptops and enjoy a Hogwarts themed reception in the Metaverse.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
it's going to be attended by friends and family from across the world. Pretty cool. But yeah,
You know
lots
what
of
I'm very interested in?
Mhm.
How the dark web will operate using the metaverse.
Yeah. Well,
This
it's
is going to open a lot of gateways for like some underground internet activity.
It is. The world's going to get a lot more interesting. It's going to be
Yeah,
fun.
sure.
But I want everybody who still doesn't really know what's going on with the metaverse. And you two can do this, Emery, because like that question you said, dark web, any space on the web, change it from web to world. And that'll give you an idea of what it'll be in the metaverse. So
Dark
you said
world.
dark web. It'll probably be turned into the dark world that only a select few can access, right? Nike is going to turn
Sounds like
into,
medieval Europe, bro.
all right, yeah, turns into
Okay.
Nike world, Instagram world, like, or a lot of these things, not everything, but a lot of these things will go from web to world. And it's
So
gonna be interesting.
Pornhub turns from Pornhub to Porn World.
And I bring that up every time I talk about the metaverse, and Porn World is going to be immaculate.
Cool. Give me some.
Yes, sir.
We'll put a little pin in all these because bro, I'm just excited, bro. I'm excited to get back into all this podcasting. At first, the episode was started off a little bit low energy, but I think you guys can really tell that we're glad to be back. Yeah. And it's really, this podcast is so important to me. I really felt like, I was gaining so much during college, but I really felt like there was a piece missing. Yeah. And like, I knew what it was, but like getting to actually do it again, I could really feel what it was. You know what I'm saying?
It's special. It's special. And, I always come up with new ideas on every podcast, so it's necessary for me. I've been really big on creativity for the past couple months, and I try to like do things to invoke that within myself. But it's something about this podcast that every time I step on, something new is created, and that comes from both of us, and I think that's really special. And then this podcast is going to reach another tier as we get more used to talking, because we haven't done this in half a year. And then it's going to reach an entirely other tier when we bring more guests on the show. It's going to be special. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be exciting. Really,
and guys, hear me out. I know we've always been like, we going to upload. We going to try to get a weekly schedule going. But no, for real, seriously, we got it because we have no more excuses. We started this podcast towards the end of our high school careers. And we just like started the next arc of it as we're beginning college. And, it's only up from here. We really don't have anything to do but grow during this period because that's what college is all about. This podcast is an integral part of our growth period. You know what I'm saying? So we're not only going to do this for you guys, we're going to keep a consistent schedule, but we're doing it for ourselves as well.
Emery, let me give you a shocking statistic that will make you just feel crazy. We've been doing this for a year and a half.
A year and a half?
It doesn't feel real.
Well, let's just call it a year. We were gone for a half.
We've been gone. Like we've been like only actively podcasting for maybe like 7 months because we had like summer break trip and 2 Christmases and quarantine for COVID and all that stuff. But our podcast has been active for a year and a half.
No way.
Doesn't even feel real. It doesn't.
That's wild.
Doesn't feel real.
That's wild, bro.
We started in September 2020.
I literally remember putting on my fit for that first episode.
Yeah.
Sitting on that couch, learning how to freaking figure out a tripod I've never used in my life.
Right.
That's awesome, bro.
But yeah, man. But shoot, more life to us, more life to y'all. Thank you for tuning into the Enlightened Brothers podcast. We really appreciate it. Emery, do you have anything else you want to say?
I actually got an essay doing 2.5 hours. Or 2.5 hours, yeah, 3.5 hours. And right, I was not feeling the energy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna get it done, but it was probably gonna be a mid essay. But now I'm hyped. I'm pumped. I'm feeling creative.
Let's go.
I'm gonna finish it. And I have another all-nighter to pull tonight because I have a couple tests tomorrow. But we're gonna get it done. It's all thanks to this podcast.
Let's go. The Enlightened family is lifting us up, and I'm happy for it. Me as well. I'm about to get into my shits tonight. Trying to get all this homework done before February 9th because your boy is
Hell
gonna
yeah.
go wild on his birthday, his nasty 19. Let's
Hell
go.
yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, man, it's been a great show. I'm happy to be back. A couple formalities. This podcast is available on all audio podcast networks, from Apple to Spotify to Google Podcasts to Podbean or whatever you use. And it's
Right.
also a video component is available on YouTube as well. We
Don't
are
forget
the
to like and
Enlightened
subscribe.
Brothers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are the Enlightened Brothers. Thank you for listening. Peace.
Peace.